What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Hey, on the program today, I have Vero G. Who's Vero G? What? You don't know? You're going to find out in the next few minutes. So stick around for Vero G. I'm so stoked. This week's shows, I will be on Thursday night over at the Old Post Barbecue in Russellville, Arkansas. That's the Old Post Barbecue. So good. That's my family-friendly show, video dance party, karaoke jam. Yeah, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show at the Old Post Barbecue. Not only do they have great food, they got great people serving that great food. I do keep it family friendly, so you can bring everybody you know to the Old Post Barbecue from 6 to 9 in Russellville, Arkansas on Thursday night. Yeah, and they do have frosty beverages for the adults if you care to imbibe. But you know, I'm going to keep that music family friendly. Yeah, that's my Thursday night show. And then on Friday night, I'll be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Where? The Rab in Conway, Arkansas, R-A-B. Now, you know, Conway, Arkansas is in a dry county, and the only way that they can get away with putting bar on their sign was to spell bar backwards, and then when you see it in your rearview mirror, it'll say, oh, bar, R-A-B, bar. See how clever they are? They're so smart. Now, that one is a 21 and over, adults only show. Full bar, kitchens open, pool tables. In fact, they have a pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to try to make some money on a Friday night, I encourage you to check out the Rab, Conway, Arkansas. Oh, yeah. Come on out. Sing a song. Have some drinky drinks. Have some fun with the people, with your friends at the Rab Friday night. That's from 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. All right. Oh, and then on Saturday, I have a wedding. I'm kind of excited about that. The weddings are back, baby. You know, it was kind of dry last year. Not completely dry. I still had about 2 weddings a month, but now it's 3 and 4 weddings a month, which is great. I'm so happy that people are starting to break out and getting their little vaccinations and taking care of each other and doing what they have to do to break out of this coronavirus thing. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like wearing a mask. Who likes wearing a mask? Like I'm saying something new, right? All right, that's enough intro. Let's get into it with Vero G. Vero G. Now, I got Vero G on the Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the video version at my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDAN, and you'll find all of my podcasts, really, right there. But the latest one will be Vero G. Kind of stoked. All right, let's get into it with Vero G. Skyping Vero G now. Almost there. So close.
Aww.
Got the audio. Can't get the video yet. There she is.
Oh.
The wonderful Veronica Vero G. Gonzalez. So good to have you on the What Makes You Famous podcast. Nice to meet you in person finally. Or
Same
kind
here,
of.
thank you.
So I've been kind of excited to listen to have a talk with you. I'm so stoked. I mean, you seem like you are so out there already in the world. You're a podcaster yourself. I'm going to put that right on the line right away. You are a radio personality. You're a talk show host of sorts. Give the people an idea of who you are, Vero G.
Definitely. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you for having me on the show. I'm truly honored. Thank you so much. So yes, let's get straight to it. Basically, I am an entrepreneur. I am a radio and TV personality as well for my own show, which is called Vero G, Spotlight TV radio show, which airs every Wednesdays at DTF Radio from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So you guys can definitely check that out when you get a chance. Besides that, I'm an artist. I am actress. I mean, the list is going on. Screenplay writer. I mean, the list. I don't want to bore you guys, but it's a lot of stuff.
No. There is no boring of the guys. This is what they're here for. They want to know more about Vero G. I want to know more about Vero G. All right, the 10 polls on your website is artist, model, actress, TV host, screenwriter, author, poet, motivational speaker. Which came first? First of all, where are you from, and how did all this start?
Sure, not a problem. So I'm actually born and raised in Lower East Side. Those who don't know that, it's like East Village, downtown Manhattan, New York. So I've been born and raised there. I'm still here. I embrace the community. I do a lot of great things for them, and I'm just honored to be here and to be just a part of what I do. But I started out doing most of anything is just being an artist. At the very young age of 7 years old, you could say, I knew I had a passion of mine in music. I didn't know exactly what it was, but it was just something there. You know, as you have a gift, you try to mold it, you try to craft to see what will lead on to that point. So later on in life, I felt that passion. I felt more in tune to, as they say, when I got older in my life, and it was my teenage years and now to adulthood. It was always a part of my life from my junior high school 22 school choir. I had the opportunity to work with Al Sharpton many years ago for the Change Choir, and it was a great experience. We got to travel for a little bit. We got to see some things, and I got to just embrace working with one as a choir itself and seeing how the ins and out of that as well. So with that in mind, I'm just honored to have those experiences as a backup. And then later on in life, I decided to just do a solo career as an artist and just embrace that. Yeah.
A lot to unpack, Vero G. There's a lot a lot of experience that you've already had in your young life. I mean, I'm 52 years old. You're a youngin', a whippersnapper, and you've already experienced so much in this life. You say Lower East Side. See, I'm from Miami, but here I am in Arkansas right now, and I don't know what the Lower East Side is. I haven't really been north of the Mason-Dixon line too much. I'd need to get up to New York because I'm hearing it's a town. It's the if you were a tour guide of the Lower East Side of Manhattan, what is that tour going to entail? What are the things to see?
I believe it's enriched with a lot of culture, a lot of arts, a lot of music inclined with that. It's very diverse. When I was growing up, it wasn't really that much diversity to it, but now that coming back from, I actually lived in the Bronx for a little while before coming back to my own neighborhood, and I seen the change a bit and the gentrification, but actually it's a great thing because you see more diversity more than ever. And it's abundance of all these types of races in one. A lot of people are just embracing each other and just showing each other love in this community.
Yeah, that's how, when I grew up, from first till sixth grade, I went to Catholic school in Miami, Florida, and I didn't know race. I really didn't know it until somebody in seventh grade told me, hey, that guy's different than you. And I go, really? Who? I have a cousin, and I know I've mentioned this on the podcast before. One of my first or second cousins, Armandito, he is black as night. He's not black. He's Cuban. And soy cubano. I'm half Cuban, half Irish. So nobody is one thing, and I'm only mentioning this because you mentioned diversity. And I think nobody is one thing. I just went and got vaccinated, and I had some check boxes. It said white, Hispanic. What? So I had to check 2 boxes: white, Hispanic. I don't know which one. Do you pick them both? But you grew up with not so much diversity, but then you went down to the boogie down Bronx, and then you came back. Why did you head for the Bronx? And what was the difference there?
Yeah, so I moved up in the Bronx from the Lower East Side. I would say around 15 or so. I moved up because my mom she moved from from there to the Bronx, so I had no other choice. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I had experience to see how it is in that side. The Bronx is rich too. A lot of culture, and a lot of great stuff there, foods and all different stuff of that nature. But it was kind of different from being raised and born and raised basically in one location and kind of transferred to another location, seeing a little bit of the way things are. But I kind of enrich both, I guess you could say, the Bronx and the Lower East Side, and utilize that with my arts and everything else I do with that.
Well, what do you think about the school systems in both of them? When you were a little kid, you went to school in the Lower East Side, and I'm talking about the Lower East Side like I even know where that is. I don't know geography, but I'm going to go ahead and take your word that it's a certain way, and then you go to the Bronx and just another way, and then come back to the Lower East Side and it's one way. But it kind of explained your little journey when you were a little kid. How was the school system? How did they treat you in school?
Sure. So, what I could recollect, I guess the age of maybe 5 or so. To me, it was just, Hispanic culture, the Hispanic community, basically. And that kind of, enriched me hearing the music and just walking down the street and, doing my usual stuff I would do just to go home and take care of myself and go back to school and stuff. So the school system, it was okay. I felt like it was lacking even at a young age. I saw that we were not, let's put it this way, we were kind of lacking a lot of things where in other, let's say suburbs or other places that have more better incomes or sorts have better privileges, as they say. So with that in mind, I kind of at a young age saw that. And, that's one thing I do want to add on here as well in this conversation, with the fact that I do want to enhance that for my community. I want to just give them the best I can and giving back to them and just give them something extra that they definitely deserve to have in this community.
Absolutely. Once you get to a certain level and you have the means, give back. That is part of the deal. You've gotten so much from people. Even if you don't feel like you've gotten that much, you're still doing better off probably than another person. If you got a roof over your head, you are doing better than so many people in this world. And I just got called today. There's a City of Hope outreach here in Conway, Arkansas, and it's they take care of the homeless. And the director called me today and said, "Hey, could you DJ a party for us for a Memorial Day?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. You don't have to ask twice. That's what you need to do, is give back." And I'm glad that you're a person of the community. How do you feel, that your community has changed when you went back and you saw a change? Because I left Miami back in 2009 and I haven't been back. And I feel like if I go back, I'm going to feel like it's a whole nother world, at this point. So how did you feel leaving at 15? And then I guess you came back, in your 20s or something?
Oh, it makes you feel so young. Thank you. 20-ish around there, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I would say it has changed a whole lot, and it's changed for the better in some ways, you could say, because like I said, you get more diversity now. You have more people, embracing the community and getting to know each other. And back then, we didn't have that kind of privilege, raising up in that situation. And I just see it's for the good, as they say. Yeah.
Well, I've heard two different sides to the gentrification. Okay.
Yes.
It makes things more expensive. So the people that live there, they end up going to their local market and stuff costs 25% more. Or, that's just a number that just rattled off my head. But there's a percentage more because people are, here they come. They're gentrifying the neighborhood. They're making it better. They're cleaning it up. They're painting the old buildings. And now we got to pay extra. Is that something that you've experienced?
That's the only flip side to that, even though, like I mentioned, it's kind of like diverse and everything is happening great in the culture here. But that's the only negative side to it, is that, of course, the rents are going way up. A lot of people who I knew when I came back here were no longer here. They moved because the rents are, especially in New York City itself, it's really expensive. And, a lot of people are shacking up. Let's say, we had a bedroom apartment, like 1-bedroom apartment. Now people are shacking up just to make ends meet to make it during the month. So it's hard. It's a hardship with that.
Yeah, all I know about New York is what I see on the movies, I see on TV, what I've read about. No, and you're giving me an idea. This is primarily is a learning podcast. And I'm learning from you, Vero G. I want the people to learn about where you're from, and then ultimately, where you are now and how you came to be. So what were you doing in school that led you to believe that you could be a motivational speaker, or you could be an artist, or you could be an actress, or you could be the things that you are? What were you doing in school that led you to this?
I would say, I did the school choir many years ago. I think 8th grade, I believe. It was just a great experience. First time to work with other peers of mine, and we had something in common with the music. And until that time, I was just inclined. Like, I knew something there was the growth of what my journey, as they say, to continue on what I'm doing as we speak right now. I feel like it has been a long road. It has been very much a long road.
Well, tell me the beginnings. When you went to that, were you in that choir? What year? I mean, what grade were you in the choir? And then and I do want to go over when you met Al Sharpton, because that guy is a very fascinating man. But I want you to go into you first and in choir. What kind of shows were you doing? Did you put on shows for the other kids in school? And how did that feel?
Sure, definitely. So for the school choir, we basically did a lot of rehearsals in the school, and then we did local events. Actually, we competed with other choirs in different various schools, and we actually had one of the first. I wish I could have my trophy. I showed you guys. I actually got we actually won the first place. I get it, for the youth leadership for anti-drugs. I think that was the theme of it. So it was anti-drug kind of theme going on there, but we won first place. It was a great experience, and it was just amazing from that experience alone. And it was just something that, like I said, it instilled in me. Like I said, this is something I really want to continue on in my life later on when I get older. And with Al Sharpton, that was an amazing experience. Actually, many years ago, my ex-boyfriend I think it was an AM station they have, and they were looking for auditions. So at that time, my ex-boyfriend was like, "Look, you could sing, just go and give it a shot." So it took place actually in NAB, which is called National Action Network. It's on 145th Street, I believe, in Harlem. That's where his headquarters are at. So I went there. I was very nervous. I just said, let me just do what I have to do, and I actually sang a cappella. I forgot what song was it. Forgive me. Amazing Grace, actually. And I didn't know the words, but thank God I just sang my heart out. It was kind of eerie because it was like everybody was clapping, and I was like, oh my God, I'm singing in front of this man who I've seen for many years in TV, and like he's famous, And it was a great experience. And then afterwards, after like a month or so, I got the email that I got selected to be in a choir, and it was a great experience after that.
What year was this, and how old were you back then?
Yeah, I was now I want to tell my age. Oh my.
I already said I'm 52. Once I got to 50, God. I was like, I'm not worried about it anymore.
That's fine. That's fine. I would say it was maybe my late 20s. Let's just say there, mid to late 20s. But it was around the year, I believe, 2008. I believe either 2008 or 2009, but I didn't last more than a year because I was going to school also, so it was too much to do. But I left in good terms. Yeah.
Oh, so you were doing college back then?
Yes.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
Actually, I wanted to become a nurse. It didn't work out that way, but I at least I got something to back me up, if anything.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was a EMT for a while, and I tech at a hospital in Miami, and it was a good job. And let me tell you, anybody out there that wants to work in a hospital, do the emergency room at night. And the word at the emergency room was treat them and street them, treat them and street them, get them in, fix them up, and get them out. And, either get them upstairs to where they're admitted or get them down. Did you do anything in the medical field at all while you were growing up?
Yeah, I won my college years. I was taking medical assisting, so I had to take a practical, more what do you call internship,
Yeah.
and I had to, like, for 3 months, and I had to do everything, the blood work, the whole works, the vital signs, everything. So it was a lot of work, but it was great because now if anything happens, I know what to do right away, take care of somebody in need of help. So I'm already prepared for that.
Well, no, it's good to have that kind of a basis. I tell everyone, at least take a first responder course. That way, if something happens, you're at a restaurant and somebody falls over, you could, help a little bit. You can give them a little CPR, give them a little Heimlich maneuver or something. Maybe you could save a life. I mean, it feels good when you have the knowledge to save another person. It's better to have it than not need it, than to need it and not have it. And I'm glad that you have that under your belt. Whether you went all the way to become a nurse, but you got a bit of knowledge, and knowledge is power, and you're always learning. And I wonder what else you've learned. What other extracurricular activities were you doing in high school and then ultimately in college? Were you in the choir, and then what else?
Yeah, so in junior high school, I was in school choir. In my high school years, I was mostly more educational. I was just trying to finish up my school years, high school, finish that off. And then my college years, I was doing my courses, but then I was with the poetry club, and just pretty much about it. I wasn't really doing too much of everything, but I focused on that. It was a great experience. I got to, meet other poets as well, and I do a couple of shows at the school, and it was pretty cool.
All right. When did that start? Were you always good in English? When did the poetry start?
I always loved reading and expressing yourself. So I guess it's a combination of both. Yeah, I could say I started doing that around the poetry side. You could say around I was like 10 years old, and I always had an infatuation with it, if you could say, fascination. Forgive me, because my mom was actually a poet many years ago as well. So through her works, I actually wanted to continue on with that. And going to college years, when I was a part of the poetry club, it was great. You get to express yourself, and that's why the songwriting it kind of coincides with the poetry as well. So it kind of relates to both of them. Yeah.
So do you think writing a poem is like writing a song? Is it exactly the same, or is it different?
It's kind of like a short version of a song, but then with the song you add more feeling to it, and depends how you want to structure it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, explain. For example, do you have a poem of yours in your head? Maybe you can recite a little bit. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
No, it's fine. I got plenty of them right here.
Wow. Okay. Within arm's reach. So for those that are listening to the audio version of this, she just reached over and grabbed a poem. Is it a book of poems?
Actually, I have, as we speak, I do have a number amount of poems, poetry books. They're on Amazon. You guys could definitely support that if you can. Just look up Veronica Gonzalez, my full name, and if you need my information, just contact me, and I'll send you where you can send the link. It's on www.amazon.com.
Okay, yeah. Veronica Gonzalez. We can look that up. Now, it would have been good if you put Veronica Vero G, because I'm going to guess there's probably a lot of Veronica Gonzalez out there. But what's the name of your poetry book?
Well, there's no cursing, so make sure it's not cursing. This one's called Ready to Heal.
Ready to Heal. Well, hit me with a few bars of it if you could.
Sure, definitely. Ready to heal takes time. You must take that step to get into that place. It may be a bumpy road, but trust me, it will be the best experience to let go of all the burden that your heart had to soak in, letting go. Well, let yourself breathe to a new chapter in your life. Making new plans to see, don't look back, it won't do no good. Just focus on your future and all will come into place. Ready to heal.
What was the inspiration on that, and when did you write that? That's beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Actually, this is my latest. These are one of my entries to my latest book. Is called Healing. Oh God, forgive me. I'm like all over the place.
No, that's okay.
Thank you. This is called Healing for the Soul. It's actually one of the poems on that itself. So you guys could definitely support that. That's the latest one I did. And that's the inspiration behind that. It's just, I felt like with the pandemic that happened last year, I felt we definitely needed time to heal and take time to reevaluate ourselves in our lives. That's why I feel like it's kind of gave us a blessing in disguise, where now we have to like kind of sit back and figure what we want in our lives, during this time of pause, as they say. So, yeah, that's why I read this book, is my inspiration behind that. So, yeah, definitely check that out.
Wow, Vero G. Have you experienced any pain in your life that you've had to heal from?
Yes.
For
Yes.
example?
Oh yes. Okay, so not another book. Okay, so
Okay.
this is called this is called Trials and Tribulations and Autobiography of Vero G. And this book, it tells everything I've gone through pain. I'll get a little more detail into it. I am a domestic violence survivor. I am a rape victim. I have been homeless and pregnant. I have gone through the shelters, not shelter, forgive me, the foster care system many years ago as a kid. And the list goes on. But these things, I wanted to tell my story about that, because overcoming all these obstacles and overcoming everything, I'm still here on my own 2 feet, and want to show people that you can do anything you want to do without anything that's thrown at you.
No, absolutely. And people have all kinds of upbringings, and kids are resilient. They're made of rubber, but they could bend and break. But you could take that pain and turn it into creativity. I'm glad that you went that way, because a lot of kids, they don't make it. They don't make it through,
Yes.
foster care or the loss of parents. Just being thrown from one situation to another, domestic violence. I'm so sad that you had to go through that. I mean, I've never hit a woman. There's been reason, but I've never hit a woman. Don't do it. I think Chris Rock said it best. There might be a reason, but just don't do it. No, but how did I know I kid a little bit, but how did how did the domestic violence present itself? Because it's not always physical; it could be psychological as well. How did that present itself, and when was that?
Well, it happened many years ago with my my ex-boyfriend. I won't say his details. He'll know right away. I don't want to kind of talk much about him,
Right.
But it was one of my exes, and it started out, how the signs, they sweet talk you, everything's fine, looks, everything's all peachy, as they say. And eventually the signs started to show up, where it was first verbally, then emotional, and then physical. Eventually, I was with this person for 5 years. We produced a child with this. And unfortunately, my child had seen some situations where I felt he shouldn't have seen, to the point where my ex-boyfriend almost had killed me in front of him. So it has really affected me a lot. I do have PTSD through this. I am getting therapy as we speak for that. And this happened many years ago. But I felt, going through my testimony, my story, I needed to write this book to let people know that, and men and women, they go through it, but I wanted to let them know that if I went through it and I'm a survivor, I want anybody out there who's listening now to know that you can overcome anything. Like, this is just my testimony to help inspire people as well.
Well, over the years, I've talked to so many people, and women in particular. They get, these men, they find ways to take away the power for the woman to even get away from that situation. And
Yes.
it's like a frog in water. If you start heating it up, it'll boil before it even gets out of that water. I liken it to that. I don't know why that analogy came in my head, but it seems appropriate. Is you'll be in this water. Oh, it's cool. Oh, it's starting to warm up a little bit. And by the time it boils, you're stuck. You're stuck in this water. They'll honey, you could just stay home from work. No problem. You have no money. You have no way to get out of the situation. I mean,
Exactly.
Is that something that happened to you?
For my situation, it was a little different, because in the beginning, it was kind of like he had the control in many factors, but then I started having a second chance in my life to get out of it. That's why I was starting to go to school, my college years, and I started to kind of slowly break away from him. And he was very jealous because he didn't want me to be around other people, and the insecurities were really there. I slowly broke myself away from him from that.
Well, good. I mean, what you're doing is you're telling people, the signs of how to recognize when you're being abused. Sometimes you see your friends and you don't want to say anything, but sometimes you have to say something.
Yes.
That guy, that girl is no good for you. It's not working out. Have you ever had to pull somebody out of a situation like that yourself?
Actually, this is something I didn't know, but I was that time when I was homeless. I saw, no lie to you, across the street from me. I was right in Central Park. I don't know, Central Park North, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. I was sitting at the bench and I saw two people, a couple, I guess, down the street, and they started arguing, and it got so bad where the guy was pulling her hair, and something inside of me got up from the bench, and I said, "Listen, you better stop before I got really hostile with him." And he says, "Bleep, bleep, bleep, get out of my business." And I said, listen, if you're going to continue, I'm going to call the cops. And eventually, I guess they saw how serious I was, and they eventually left.
Well, that's a dangerous situation in itself. The police, I've done ride-alongs with the police. I was a firefighter for a while down in the Florida Keys. And, I did ride-alongs with the cops because I wanted to see, how the other half lives. I want to see what they do. And domestic disputes, domestic violence, when they have to go to domestic calls, between a traffic stop and a domestic call, those are the two most dangerous calls for a policeman to go to, because you never know. You start handcuffing the man because he was beating on the wife, and then the wife says, "No, I love him. Don't take him away," and then starts beating on the cop. I've seen that firsthand, and I couldn't imagine. That was brave of you to try to help those people out, but it's dangerous. It's dangerous to be sure, because love presents itself in various ways. But I mean, we'll go beyond that. You made it through that trial, that tribulation. You wrote about it, and then from there, were you writing poems before that? You're 10 years old. You were writing poems.
I was not really writing. I was inspired by my mom. But later on, I think around I was. The age, I think I was in high school, forgive me, I believe in 7th grade. I actually wrote some poetry way later on, and then that's where I started doing songwriting within that same time. So it kind of gave me that push, that motivation to get to that point.
So by this time, 2008, 2009, you're breaking out of that relationship, you're on your own, but you're homeless? How did you make it through that?
Actually, I was homeless with my son's father before we got our place together. So that was around that time I was pregnant, and that experience, I was I think over a year, almost around that time from a year in the streets with him, and the experience was very horrific. Things I shouldn't have seen that I saw, hanging out in the crackhead's place, and seeing things, and it's just things I didn't want nobody to experience. Sleeping at the emergency room, as they say. I was pretending I was waiting to get seen, but I was sleeping there basically at the bench just to have a place over myself, brewing over my head for that night. The stories goes on and on, but it was just things I went through. I wish I had that experience.
Well, I mean, Vero G, you've had that experience. You could turn that into creativity. That's amazing. That's a thing that you use. Some of the most creative people, some of the most inspirational people are people that have been through hardships, and you are living proof. You've been through those hardships, and now you're turning those hardships into inspiration for other people. That's motivational speaker. That is poet. That's lyricist. That is, the tent poles of you. That's how you became Vero G, from Veronica Gonzalez to Vero G. So when did that moniker start? When did the brand Vero G actually begin? Is that something recent, or has it always been?
Actually, it's funny you said that, because in my home, with my dad and my mom many years ago, it's short for Veronica. They used to say Vero, in Spanish. So I kind of put the artist name behind that. I would say later on in my life in adulthood, when I said, I want to find the correct stage name for me, and I felt it was related to who I am. So the Vero is short, of course, for Veronica, and the G is for my last name. So I said, this is kind of catchy. I like it. It kind of sticks.
It does. Yeah. And it's good to build. If you're If you're an entertainer, you want to build a brand, and this is a way that you're doing it. I mean, yeah, there's probably 100,000 Veronica Gonzalez, but there's only one Vero G, and I get to be the one to talk to her right now, and that's beautiful. And I'm already finding inspiration from you. You're someone that's come through, trials and tribulations, and I keep saying the name of your book that people need to go find on Amazon and go buy it. And you keep holding it up. Yeah. No, that's beautiful. No, I'm saying you keep holding it up. That's beautiful. No, and at a young age, writing an autobiography, that lets me know you've been through some pain. So tell me more about. The nursing thing didn't work out. Now what? Okay, once you get out of nursing school and it's like, that didn't work out. Where does Vero G go from there?
So around that time frame, I continue on to my studies to do a different field in medical, of course. And then I realized after I did my courses and everything, I felt like it wouldn't satisfy me. Music was still there. It was like I still was writing songs at home and still doing poetry as well. And I felt like music. I feel like even though I got the degrees, that's great. I put money and time and investment in this, but it's just music was still there. It was still in my life. Like I'm not gonna leave it. So that's when that time I realized I quit my part-time job and I went full on this career I have been doing for over 8 years now. And it's been hard. I will be honest. Anybody who's listening, try to at least have a part-time job, something financially to support you, because if you quit something, you have to really be dedicated and be ready to financially invest in yourself before anybody takes a look at what you're doing and help you along the way. So I'm just letting anybody know who's listening now or later on, just always have a backup plan, meaning financially, because if you want to pursue your dream, you go for it. But make sure you have something that's going to support you along the way.
Oh, you're giving the people gems, Veronica G, Vero G. Always. It's nice. It's nice to have a day job, even though that's a job that might suck your soul away. But it's good to have insurance, a steady income. Even if it's $8 an hour. I know that people are pushing for 15 an hour or what have you, but that's that could be something. There's fights on both sides of the aisle on that one, whether 15 an hour is the right number. But notwithstanding, at least you have a steady income that you can kind of budget. Hey, look, I'm making $500 a week. I can make a budget on this. I won't live like a king, but I'll live. I won't live like a king or a queen, but I'll live. So it's good to have a steady income, and then that affords you to have the dreams at night, which is the singing and the poetry and the motivational speaking. So what tent poles when you finally did get a degree? What degree did you get?
Yeah, I got a bachelor's for public health. Yeah.
Excellent. I'm so proud of you. That's fantastic. I've been to college a bunch of times, and I got, most of the time it's enough to do, I did radios. I think it was a radio communications was my first thing. And then EMT and paramedic and fire school. But there were like little 2-month courses, one semester. I think the first thing I wanted to be was a psychiatrist. And I went, no, that's way too far. No, doctor? No, that's crazy. Even and then I went
8 years right there.
Yeah, and then I went, well, maybe psychologist. Still too much. I was like 4 years away. No. So yeah, those little bites. But then you learn in the school of life, and that's, sadly and happily for us, as we get the benefit of what came out of that school of life. But sadly for you, that you had to go through all these problems, all these trials and tribulations. Once again, I keep saying the title of your book, Veronica Gonzalez, Vero G. I want people that are listening to get it drilled in their head. Go to Amazon and find it.
I love that. It's pretty good.
So tell me what. Are you still doing anything in the medical field, or you bet on yourself and totally threw that away and said, I'm going to be an entertainer?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you're right on point. Yeah. I said, you know what? I have something to hold on to just in case if I have to. But I said, let me go full course on this entertainment business and do what I see what could come out of it. Yeah.
What year was that, and what have you done? What did you do
Yeah.
that first year?
Sure, no problem. So when I graduated 2011 for my bachelor's, I just said, I'm going to take that shot. I'm going to take that risk. And I went full course on it. And how I went about it, basically, I started doing open mics, showcases, just getting my name out there in New York City as an independent artist. And right now, I'm still doing shows here and there, not as much because of COVID. But the experience alone, just performing in front of people and seeing their reaction, and it's just a great feeling.
Well, what did you do at the open mics, and give shout outs to the place that you went? I always like to give shout outs to the venues that helped me become who I am. So what open mic did you go to, and where was it?
Yeah, actually, true story. Many years ago, I performed. I think over 8 years ago, it was my first performance at the New York Poets Cafe. Big shout out to them. After ever 7 years later, I had the opportunity to host the event there at my show for other independent artists out there and give them that platform. So it was a great kind of like karmic kind of thing going there, you could say, and giving back. That's what we do now with the brand itself, for the Vero G Spotlight brand. But besides that, going back to you were saying, I think just in general, just the open mics, New Eureka Post Cafe, Recoup Lounge. I have lists. The list goes too long.
I got time.
I could just, these are on my head right now. Oh Lord, I have to write them down and send it to you because it's too many.
No, I like people that give credit where credit is due. Shout outs to the people that helped us along the way, because we can't do all this by ourselves. We always need people to help us out. Whenever I do a podcast by myself, it sucks. Frankly, it sucks. But when I have somebody cool to talk to, like Veronica Gonzalez, Vero G, it's better. The podcast becomes, oh my goodness, I want to listen to that. This is fantastic. I want to know more about Vero G. But so you said when you were doing the open mics, was that poetry or was that singing?
It was more singing. It was more singing side. Poetry was not. I mean, I had it just in case of me if I had to, but the majority of times I wanted to show more my talent as a singer, and it was at first the first time I performed. Of course, it was nerve wracking, and you're like, oh my God, are they gonna not like my performance? But afterwards, it was just, you got used to it. You got used to people just supporting you and liking what you do and all that. So,
well, what kind of songs were you singing? Was it your own original songs, or were you singing other people's covers?
It was mostly covers at the beginning because I was still kind of figuring it out. But then eventually, when I continued working on my own albums and my own projects, that's when I started doing my original songs, as I say. And it was great. It was a great experience.
So what were your first covers, and can we see them on YouTube?
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, I did this song by Rihanna, Stay. They're actually on my YouTube channel, guys. Could definitely check that out on Vero G Spotlight TV Network. Go check that. You're gonna see like the beginning videos. You can see all that. Oh my God. Adele, Someone Like You. That's another one. Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You. I mean, there was a few other covers I just continue using. While doing shows and that.
So I mean, these are lofty goals. They're ballads that just have. Your vocals have to be on point to catch oh my goodness, this is lofty. To do I Will Always Love You or anything. Oh my gosh. Or anything by Adele. That's a lofty goal. What made you feel like you could do that? Were you trained at all, or this is something you've been singing your whole life, I guess, since you were 10?
Yeah, I just practice at home. Mostly that's what I would use. And I have a very good ear. Like I will listen in and just watch how they move and the concerts, Adele and all them, and how they perform. And I would just emulate them. And I would just be pretend I'm on my stage, do my thing, and then when I perform, I just gave my all. Yeah. So
this is you in your room with a mirror, just giving a stage presence. Hey, that is the way you do it. Whenever I'm gonna be hosting a show. You better believe I talk into a mirror and see how I look, and it's always ugly. But I see how you make sure that I pronounce the names right. Make sure that I have my speech down before I'm going to go and give a performance like that. But you know, it's always good to plan, and that's what you're doing. You plan it in your room. But you say I want to talk about your mom a little bit. You said your mom was a poet. Did she have poems that have been published, or is she somebody that's always just done poetry on her own?
That's a really good question. Actually, when I started seeing her, because she used to write them in the composition books, and she was showing me, look what I done, and she's like, after she, I guess write them or show it to me, is like to look at it and everything else, and I felt, it was pretty cool to experience that with her, to have that connection with her with the writings, and unfortunately, she never published her work. I did actually recently kind of push her, like, where to do it, how to do it, but I mean, it's up to her, but it was really cool. She could put her stuff out there.
Well, I'm glad you gave her that inspiration and the know-how to publish your own stuff. Now, I'm guessing the books, have you published them on your own, or did you have a publisher?
Yeah, many years ago, when I was in college years, I was actually sending all my query out to like publishing houses or stuff like that. Of course, I got a lot of rejection no's. So I said, you know what? Forget them. I'm gonna go and do it my way. So a friend of mine was like, go to the site, go to this route. This is how you do it. And all my books are all published, self-published. So yeah, all these books I did on my own creativity with the graphics, with the images, and the content. Yeah.
Well, teach people how did you do it? What website can you go to, or did you go to?
Sure. So many years ago, it used to be called CreateSpace.com, but then I guess they got bought out by Kindle. I think it's Kindle Publishing, I believe. But anyway, yeah. So you go through there. That's the site usually you go through, and it'll direct you to Kindle Publishing, and then with that, it connects to also with Amazon. So when let's say you do the book, you put it together, and then you eventually send it to them. It takes a couple of days to be put out on Amazon and other platforms as well. It climbed with that as well. Yeah.
So you can get a Kindle book, I'm guessing a virtual book, but then you also have a hard copy book. They'll print it for you. They'll bind it and print it for you as well and give you a little piece of it,
yes.
Hopefully they give you a big piece because you're the creator.
No, with that, it's unfortunate. You actually have to buy your own products.
Yeah,
I realize with self, that's how it is. But I mean, hey, it's great to see your own product in your own hands. Like, wow, this is what I put together, and it's really great.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I read things on my phone and and on my tablet device and even on my computer from time to time. But it's nice to have a book in your hands. I actually read a book a couple of weeks ago. Funny. I don't remember the name of the artist, but the name of the book was Spick.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's about his trials and tribulations where he grew up being called a spick, his whole life, and I've been called that myself, when I was a kid, but I didn't know what it meant. But he turned that into, a career in. I think he was in the CIA, but notwithstanding, I read the book and I was like, I'm so proud of myself. I read an actual book, with pages, that I held in my hand, and it wasn't digital, so I wonder if print is dead, but I think, what do you think? Do you think reading a book in your hands is better than reading on a tablet, or do you not care?
That's a really good question. I'm very old school, so it's weird because I prefer to have something in my hands. Even to this day, I buy other people's books, and I'm like, I cannot wait till I get in the mail and have it, knock on my door. Hey, here's your mail. Oh my God, it's a real actual book. I can read it. So, I mean, I know there's a lot of e-readers out there that prefer, electronically. You just get it right there, instant. I prefer the old school way where you have to wait to get a book at your door, your apartment, what you want to call it, and actually read see the texture of the book, feel it, actually read the, turn the pages. I'm still that way, yeah.
Oh yeah, that feels real good. I'm old. I'm an old man. I just became even older right now. E-reader versus regular books. Now, I like books, and I used when I was on the radio in the mornings in Miami. I every morning before I get on the radio, I'd grab the newspaper at the local store on the way in, and then crack that thing open. And between songs, I'm reading what's going on in the world and telling people the news and what's happening. So I miss that. I miss having a newspaper in my hands and reading that. But okay, I know I'm on a tangent here, but I'm having fun. I'm having fun talking to you, Vero G. I'm learning more about you. But when did you start doing records, and when did you feel like I've done enough open mics and I have enough lyrics? When did the lyrics start? Was it all for you, or was it up for other people as well?
That's a good question. Actually, I started my first official album I ever did. My debut album was called what a coincidence, Trials and Tribulations. And actually, I did that a couple years back. Big shout out to my music producer at the time, Cool Breeze. He helped me a lot to put the elements of putting an album together, how, the concept and that sorts. And it was really great, just to put works of your own original works, as they say, and to put it on content and to put your heart and soul into it. Either if it's up tempo, or it's either a ballad, or something that's gonna get emotionally to hear the people, like your fans, your supporters, listen to, like, wow, that's deep, that's amazing. So when I put those all together, it was just a great amazing album out there. But that album, unfortunately, is not on digital platforms because that was my first baby. So I'm still old school. I still have to put it together myself. But maybe we'll see if I have to eventually put it out there in digital platforms for that. But my sophomore album was called The Rise of Vero G. That's at all digital platforms. That's my second one I did, and it was great. It was great, all original works. And then my third one, actually, I have the second one over here, but the third one, I have it in my hands. It's called Victory. You guys could definitely support that. It's all platforms right now. And actually, I did a song with Cuban Link on this album, which is called Come With Me, which is called Vente Conmigo in Spanish. It's like a bilingual Spanish song. It's a reggaeton kind of mix to it, but it's a great song. I had the opportunity to work with him on this amazing track. So definitely support that, guys. It's called Victory. Definitely support that.
No, and okay, you say Cool Breeze was the first producer. Did he have his own studio that you went to an actual studio? This was not like in your bedroom recording?
It was in his house, yeah.
No, hey, yeah. And people for $1,000 or maybe $2,000, depending on how much you want to invest, you can get your own recording equipment. In fact, This is the first podcast that I'm doing with my new SMB7 microphone. So yeah, I'm so stoked.
Hey, sounds good.
Yeah, I was using a headset mic, which is professional Audio Technica headset mic. But then I said, let me take the plunge, and the difference between two mics. Yeah, if you get the right equipment, for about $1,000, you can get a computer with a mixer, with a good microphone. As long as you have a quiet room that has soundproofing, you can get a good product that comes out. But there's pitfalls. You have to mix it right. When you send it to an engineer, they have to have a good ear. What was the process of that first album as opposed to the second album, as opposed to the third album? And who were the people that helped you in all those?
Yeah, so a big shout out to Cool Breeze for both albums. We worked on both of them together. The process, I would say, from the first album to the one now is a lot of growth. The first one, I was just starting to see what songs were best for me from locally and to put it out there as my original work. The second one was getting better. It was gradually getting better as an artist, craft wise. Just everything was together as a package, as I say. But then this one, the Victory album, I think is the best one because I actually went through something last year personally, and I utilized that pain and things I went through in this album. And it's very emotional, it's very heartfelt, and I felt this album was something that it could relate to everyone. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking, at your tracks, and I was listening a little bit from 7 years ago. With Clueless, with Vero, Clueless.
Oh my God, that's a throwback.
Oh, from way back. And I'm noticing the progression is you were primarily a singer, a vocalist in the beginning, but now are you rapping? Is that something new?
Just that. I do a little rap here and there, not too much. Yeah, I do a little bit here and there.
No, that's a double threat. My goodness, there's not a lot of people that can do both and do them both well. And it appears to me that you do both well. And you say you've had no training. Yes, I guess did your choral teacher do anything with you? Did he or she take you aside and say, "Hey, you need to try this," or sing from the diaphragm, or what was the choral teacher doing? I'm guessing that's the only formal training you've had.
When I was on my junior high school days, for school junior high school one, I would say they did teach us how to breathe. The breathing techniques helps a lot, especially when you take out and in and out with your songs and how you kind of put it together. That was definitely what you mentioned. That was what they train all of us to do, and basically just make sure you put your heart into it. And at the early age, when I got these elements, when I did for my junior high school choir, and even since then, I always use that method to everything I do when it comes to my music. Yeah.
So is there like a training, like when you before you go do a show, is it like me you? Is there a vocal, like a tongue training that you have to do?
You know, it's funny. Actually, I don't. That's funny because what I usually do, I do drink some tea or something, or at least Sprite, because it has like the lemony tiny thing to it, your throat. And they always say you have to always have your throat protected. Make sure you take care of it, because that's your money maker. So you have to make sure you protect your vocal cords all the time. Like drink tea before and after you do a show, which I wasn't back then. But I was like, that's too much time consuming for me. I'm like, but I still protect my voice, with things like room temperature, water, or something that's gonna soothe it a little bit. So I rest. I don't really talk too much after I do a show when I can too. Yeah. But I never had vocal training. Maybe once in a while people tell me you need vocal coaching. I'm like, listen, I'm not insulted by that. Actually, that all professional artists had to get vocal training to get perfected to what they're doing now.
Oh, and a lot of auto tune.
Oh yeah.
An engineer will make an album great, but the magic is when you could take that and do a live performance that sounds pretty close to what you did on the record. Or if you can't do that, you just give people a performance that is special just for them. There's a lot of artists that cannot do what they did on the album because it was there was effects on there. There was
polished.
Yeah, it was polished up, and for any artist these days that'll tell you that they don't use auto-tune. Auto-tune's been around since the 60s, since the 50s. It's been around. Some form of effects have been around. Not everybody can sing like they do on their album, but are artists making money on albums now, or is it all live? I don't do it for the money. I do it for the love of the art. No, you have to make some money. You need a roof over your head, right? You need some food on your plate.
Exactly.
But where can an artist make the money? Is it all the merchandise after the show, or where is it that people can support you the most?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I would say streaming, it's really great because when people download, they don't realize they're paying. It's like, for example, let's say a single is $1, right, in iTunes. Unfortunately, I break it down to you. Usually the artist or the person who puts it out there, it's basically the first iTunes gets a cut, and then you get your cut afterwards. So it's a lot of technical stuff behind that. But overall, I believe streaming helps a lot with the artists to support them with their music downloads. Another thing is also merchandising is great because when you're an artist and you put your stuff out there and people buy your stuff, that's money directly towards your pocket. You have to invest in yourself first before you get that back. So you have to look at that as well. Besides other ways of getting money as an independent artist out there, besides that, you have to promote. You have to promote as much as you can. Let's say your videos, your songs are online digital platforms. That's the way you get revenue. That's the way how you get your stuff out there, be seen and be heard. So it's a lot of ways getting money out of this industry as an independent artist. You really, and I always tell people this, even in the shows, you don't really need a label to back you. If you know how to do things the right way and get people that really will support you, your supporters will help you so much and to get to where you want to be at. A label is great because they really will support you and you don't have to pay money in your pocket. But it's that control stuff there, what I'm talking about with the major label records, where if they pay out of their pocket, they're going to control everything, every little nook and cranny out of what you are.
Oh yeah, I've heard those stories. The label. They gave me $5,000 as an advance. Well, guess what? You got to pay that $5,000 back before you see a penny from your record sales. So but doing it all yourself. Okay, yes, with a record company, they could sell 1 million units and you get $100,000. Or you by yourself can sell 100,000 units and get $100,000. You know, so yeah, you got to weigh it out. You still made that same amount of money, and I'm just throwing those dollar figures out in the air, but I want you to succeed in doing what you want to do. You have the talent, you have the drive. So tell me about. Okay, you got the artist. Okay, and I did find an IMDb page for Vero G.
Oh my God!
Actress? Wait a minute.
You did your homework on me.
Well, no, and I don't do that. I like to have these conversations fresh. I don't like to do a lot of. But what is Plan B? What is coincidental killer? What is before you jump the broom? What are these things? And you've been acting since 2015? I'm guessing. Sensory deprivation, Mrs. Carney. What kind of films are these? And where can I find them? I want to watch a film with Vero G in it.
Yeah, pretty much so. Yeah, actually, some of those things you mentioned, they're on YouTube, actually. Some, not all. But majority of those projects I had the honor to be a part of were roles that, for Miss Carney, I think sensory deprivation, that was a role I played a teacher, and I was in love with the principal, and you see me doing my action there. Trying to persuade him to be with me and stuff like that. Yeah, Jesus, the list goes on. But yeah, all those basically are either independent films, all of them are, or either shorts I was in or full features and that sorts. Yeah, but you guys, some of them you mentioned, like I said, they are on YouTube. You just got to type it up and look it up. But if not, you let me know. I could send it to you and you could tell people to check it out.
Oh my goodness! I'm going to put your IMDb on the show notes. I want people to find that. You were in a mini series, Respect the Come Up, Maria Bogota. Really?
Oh my God, I remember that. See so many things. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
What do you mean you forgot about that? This is 2016. Oh my goodness, she's done so many things. She's forgotten about the roles that she's done. That's fantastic. So tell me about Maria Bogota. That's an actual mini series that you had to come back every week to find out about. What was that all about?
Yeah, so I had a recurring role for that series. Big shout out to Brad Busy. He's the director for that project. So basically that role itself is I'm the sister of a guy who basically, I don't really do it now, but back in the days used to do like scams with the credit cards or the gift cards, and they would like get the card information, and then, I don't know how they did it, but it was basically, that's the whole concept of the web series itself. And of course drugs and other stuff of that nature. And I just, that was my sister. I just played the sister role. I went along with my brother told me what to do, and it was crazy.
Okay, all right. Well, and then all right, drugs have been something that you've, when you were in chorus, you said you had a Say No to Drugs type of show that you did. How do you feel about drugs as they, back then there was all say no to drugs. I know back in the 80s when I was growing up, Nancy Reagan was say no to drugs. What drugs? I don't know what, I never did them. I've been around people that have been smoking marijuana. Now it seems like marijuana is becoming legal everywhere, and I mean I like the smell of some good, but I still haven't tried it. I've never tried it, but I wonder about that. And how do you feel as drugs become more lax? I was just thinking about Maria Bogota, and I know Bogota, Colombia is such a
I am a Colombian sister to them. Yeah, you're pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you feel about drug use and how it's progressed through the years?
For me particularly, I feel it's gotten out of hand, where, like you said, back in the days, marijuana was like, ooh, a taboo, and now it's like everybody's taking it, and ecstasy pills and all these sorts of drugs are out there now that's available. And I feel there should be more, the law enforcement should take more upon this and not take it as a joke, but unfortunately, especially in our minority communities, we get targeted a lot. And I think we should, somebody has to take action because, with these drugs out there, it's giving it to kids, God forbid, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Even in the local bodegas, they got caught where there's people that's selling drugs right behind the back door of these local delis. It's out there. Yeah, it's very accessible, and we have to take some action behind this to try to enforce it to not be that out there in that sense.
Well, now that it's being regulated, it feels like it's going to become safer. Maybe the people are going to do it anyway. Like they tried to stop people from drinking, and then people kept drinking, and they were drinking some terrible stuff like antifreeze, like
Yeah,
real bad stuff back in the 20s or when prohibition was around, and people are doing the same thing. They're going to have crack that's laced with pine sol or whatever, and they're going to end up killing themselves. But if they make it legal and the government kind of regulates it a little bit, maybe it'll be a little safer for the people. I don't know. I just want people to be safe. Whatever they do, do your own thing. Yeah, it's a free country and that kind of stuff. But I want people to be safe in whatever they do. I don't do drugs at all. I maybe Tylenol here and there sometimes.
Same here, because I don't even take that, because I stay away from painkillers, and that's even addiction too. So I have to really be in bad pain to take even a Tylenol. Yeah.
My like I said, I worked in the emergency room, and I think I hurt myself one time, and I'm laying there in the bed, and the doctor says, "I'm going to give you some Dilaudid." I said, "No, I can take it. No, that's all right. I can take this pain. That's fine." He was ready to give me like this really strong, Tylenol with codeine or whatever, and I can handle this. I'll go through it. But that's just me. You don't have to go through it. Anybody that's listening, you don't have to go through it. If the doctor says, here, you can have some pain medicine, go ahead, take it if you want to. But, I was wondering about that, because drugs have been something that you've been in view of, and you said that you lived in crack houses, and that, man, that could be problematic, to say the least. But you made it through, and you made it through. You're here. You are with 3 albums under your belt. Well, tell me about the motivational speaking. Are you doing that? Is that something that you've done?
Yeah, prior to the COVID, unfortunately, before it happened, I was at a few events where I had the opportunity to speak and, use my testimony as an example for anybody out there who can be lifted with my message with that across. So there were a few events where I had the opportunity to do motivational speaking. Yeah.
Well, tell me about what was the talk that you had to prepare for one of them, and was it like a 5-minute talk or a full hour? As sometimes you do one or the other.
No, it's okay. Actually, in one event, I think maybe no more than maybe 10 minutes, because there was other people as well. It was like a panel. So I had to kind of briefly talk about more or less my testimony and how I overcame it, and, utilize that and maybe inspire somebody in the room that, wow, that this person gonna help me overcome maybe something that I know someone went through or are going through. So yeah.
Well, tell me. Okay, I just thought about it. Tell me about your dealing with Al Sharpton. How cool was that?
Yeah.
What did you get to meet up with him and talk to him a little bit, or was it something that he was talking at your school, or what?
Yeah, so with Al Sharpton, it was basically I got selected to be at the Change Choir. So it was a really great experience. I got the chance to talk to him very briefly, because with him, he's very busy. He has people there. He has his crew, his team, and they're always telling him to go here or to his chambers and that sorts. But besides that, I had the opportunity to be as his presence, when we did our shows. We actually did a show up in Washington, D.C., right? Not far from the White House. It was for, I forget what event was it, but it was for an event we did, and it was outdoors. It was a great experience, just to be there and see all these people there and to preach, and then just do what we did. And, we got to do other places. We actually did a Martin Luther King. They do it, I think, annually before COVID, of course, at the Sheraton Hotel. I had the chance to be there, perform there. Actually, true story. I wrote this in the book. You have to get the book. It's very juicy. I actually had the opportunity to have met Robin Thicke.
What?
Yeah, true story, no lie. It's in the book. You gotta get the book. So, we were at the Sheraton Hotel. I think it was like 50-something Street, if I'm not mistaken. It was me and our change choir members. So we were all lining up because we're next to be, on stage to perform. I got to see Robin Richard. I think Robin. I forgot. She's from ABC. Her name. Robin something. Anyway, but Robin Roberts, forgive me. Okay. She was there. Judge Mathis was there. There was a lot of celebrities there. So, we got to go behind the scenes. We went to be in line up to perform our next act. And no lie, Robin Thicke was talking, I guess, or something. And he walked downstairs at the stage. He said, to all of us, he's ladies, you're going to kill it. You do your thing. No lie to you. This is what happened. And this is really happened to me that day. He saw me and I was like blushing. And this man is like over 6 feet tall. He's a very tall guy. He came up to me and he kissed my hand. I swear to you, on a stack of Bibles, this man came up to me. He kissed my hand and he was like, he looked at me for a few minutes. I was like, oh my God. I thought I just like pee on myself. But then he left and all the ladies were laughing. And I was like, I told Lisa, I would never wash this hand. But I did, of course, unfortunately. But I was like, it was a great experience. It was great.
After you recomposed yourself, oh my goodness, yeah, Robin Thicke. I mean, famously, this guy had girl problems, and he wrote a whole album to try to get the girl back, just for her. I wrote a whole album for her. Now that's a romantic man, I think. You know, whether it worked or not, I don't remember whether it worked or not. If he got the girl back. He never got her back. No?
I think they separated. Yeah, they kind of went that way, I guess.
Hey, that's something that an entertainer can do. That creator can do. You have that power to make your pain into creative. Let your creative juices flow. So, I mean, all right. I know I've taken some of your time. Let's wind this thing down and give some shout outs to the people that have helped you along the way. What other avenues do you want to explore? What do you want to tell people?
Yeah, I want to give first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to you for having me in the show. Thank you so much. A shout out to all my amazing supporters, my fans, as they say, my management, Jampire Media. The list goes on, and just my family who's been supporting me through anything I want to do in life. And I think later on, in my life in general, I want to continue on what I'm doing with the community work. I did do a back to school event last year. My community was great, successful. We're doing it this year as we speak. Same location. We're trying to be around the neighborhood, but I'll update you that if you're interested. I'm going to start getting flyers out and anything of that nature. And we are looking for supplies. If anybody wants to support us with back to school supplies or anything, just for the kids, we appreciate that. It will be happening in August, that's for sure. So I'll let you guys know more about that. I just want to continue on pushing my agenda, which is inspire people and uplift them and motivate somebody. If I could reach out to somebody right now today through your show, or maybe somebody that could be like, wow, this person went through so much and they're still here to this day to vouch their testimony to somebody, that could make my day complete, because I know I did something that's going to change somebody else's life.
Well, what's on the immediate horizon for Veronica Vero G Gonzalez? I mean, I think New York is starting to open up. I mean, I got vaccinated. I feel like a superhero, but I still go around with my mask everywhere. You know, but if the restaurant says, hey, wear a mask, of course I'm going to wear a mask. You know, but as we're breaking out of this coronavirus, the before times and now the after times, what's on the horizon for you?
Yeah, definitely. So actually, as we speak, I am working on 2 more EP albums this year and next year. So that's in the works right now. Actually, I'm working on more books. I think poetry books of some sorts, but definitely some more publications coming soon. I'm working on the back to school event coming this year. I'm actually doing my victory tour. So you guys, I'm excited. We're starting out this month in upstate New York, a 2-day event we're doing for other artists as well. I'll be performing and hosting as well. And besides that, I'll be performing in Vegas in August. I'm excited. I will be performing as well in New Jersey for the 4th of July event. And I think a couple of locations where we're trying to put together, and also I think in PA, another event as well. I'll be performing, and I'm going to keep putting good music out there for you guys, and more music videos out there as well. Actually, I did a George Floyd music video tribute. It's out there, guys. You guys, if you can support that. We actually have over 4.k views already. Thank you for those who've been watching. And we just want to have just acknowledgement that, unity is what it is, and we need to continue fighting the cause for police brutality, and we need to end that. And I think with this message with the video, it says it all. We need to have the next generations know that they shouldn't ever suffer through those situations that we're going through now at this time. And I do want to throw it in here. I also have a magazine, guys. It's called the Vero G Spotlight Magazine. This is actually May's issue right now, and we got on the cover for this issue. It's an amazing DJ. He goes by DJ Lee Majors. So definitely support that. You can at www.macloud.com. And also I got the special edition for May issue as well for the late DMX. So yeah, definitely support that, guys, if you're interested for both. And I'm just going to continue my mission with God, what He has put me to here, being in this world, and to motivate people and continue putting great music and great stuff for you guys.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. You said entrepreneur in the beginning of this podcast, and you just keep throwing stuff out there that you're doing. An actual magazine that Vero G Spotlight is putting out there. And I said somewhere in this podcast that is print dead. No, I'd love to have a magazine in my hands reading about things, like the passing of DMX. That was hard. Oh, and then was it Shock G just passed away? I was like, what?
I heard
the
about
Humpty
that,
Hump.
yeah.
Oh man, and
and Black Rob, yeah.
And Black Rob. Oh my gosh, and I thankfully, I mean, I know that in my own little way, I try to give a tribute to those people, on a Thursday or Friday night when I'm at the clubs, but they give so much to the world. And Veronica, Vero G, you're going to you have all this that you've given to the world, and that allows you to be immortal. You'll be out there forever. Now, I noticed you had a website that's designed by Wix, and it has the official I Can't Breathe. It's been designed pretty well. Is that something that you put together on your own? I'll put a link to it.
Sure, thank you so much. Yeah, you guys, that's my official website where everything is up to date of news, updates, latest music videos, everything you can ask for. Just definitely check that out. It's www.verogsmusic.com. Definitely support that. Yeah, me and my management, we put it together, and I'm the one that's constantly updating. I have to with more content source of nature, and yeah, definitely check that out. I have to add before anything, we also I did with my management 2 docufilms, which the first one is called Through Their Eyes, The Mask Behind the Mask. Big shout out to Shauna Gordine. She was a producer for that amazing docufilm. We actually got the Be Free Award this year for People's Choice for 2021. Big shout out. Yes, I'm excited. Wow. So we're waiting for that award soon to come in the house. But that docufilm is actually true story. It's about domestic violence survivors telling their story, and even through men who suffered through it, women and children. So this is a very heartfelt docufilm. It's on my YouTube channel, guys. You can definitely support that at Vero G Spotlight TV Network. Besides that, guys, the other docufilm, it's called Trials and Tribulations, my own personal docufilm I had put together with my management. You definitely go support that if you guys can. We're also on Roku and Amazon as well. Like I said again, you guys can find me quickly on my social media, Diva and Diamonds on IG. You can find me on my Facebook artist page, Vero G. My Twitter handle is at VERO2884. And everything else is on the website. So if you guys are interested, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm finding things more and more. You have a whole Vero G Spotlight magazine. That's Instagram as well. There's so much more. I mean, I could talk to you for hours, but I will let you go for now. I don't want this to be the last time that we chat either. And if there's any other avenues you want to explore, please, by all means. But I usually finish these things off with last words for the people. Do you have any other shout outs to give?
Yeah, just a shout out to everyone who's out there trying to inspire their dreams or trying to start somewhere. Don't give up on yourself. Just keep pushing it out there, and something eventually is going to happen. Just gotta be persistent and consistent, as they say, and everything that you do.
Well, my goodness, I was going to say, if you didn't have any shout outs, I was going to tell you to give the last words for the people, but I think you just did.
Pretty much, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Vero G. All right, I do want you to give last words for the people. This way we can finish this thing off with a bow. This could be, words to live by, something that you heard a long time ago, maybe a mantra that you wake up with every morning, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Veronica Vero G. Gonzalez. Last words for the people.
Yes, I always stick to this one motto, which I always stay to in general, and I think it's always believe in yourself. Nobody's going to believe in you but yourself first before others believe in you. That's my motto.
Well, there you have it, party people. Vero G. What a nice lady. What a nice lady. So inspirational. People grow up all kinds of ways, and you make it through. you make it through. And the strongest people are the ones that make it through. Don't take inspiration, take advice from Vero G and make it through. You can witness a lot of horrible things in this world. And as long as you take care of each other, and that's what she's doing. She takes care of other people, beyond taking care of, first you take care of yourself, make sure that you're all straight, and then try to take care of somebody else. That's the only thing we have to do in this life is take care of each other. Really, be a member of this community, be a fine, upstanding citizen of the community. Take care of each other. Don't hurt each other. Take care of each other. Vero G, inspiring people. And between your poems and your lyrics and your motivational speaking, fantastic. So good to know you, Vero G. So good to know you. And thank you so much for being a part of the What Makes You Famous podcast. I appreciate it so much. And I look forward to talking to you more as time progresses, for sure. All right. Now I turn my attention to you. If you would like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.